So let's have a look at the first question called Draw a Square. In this question, the task is to write a program that moves the turtle so it draws the square shown in grey. Now let's look at the structure of the question and the website first. As you can see, in this area here, there is the question. And then on the side, you can see that you are given 3 possible blocks that you can combine together and move into the section here in order to create your code. Looking further down, you will see that there are 3 buttons. The first button is the one that you press to test and run your code. The second button allows you to go through your code step by step or block by block. And the red button here resets your code back to the beginning if you would like to start again. This slider section here allows you to speed up the execution of your code or slow it down. This is helpful if you are looking at some possible bugs or errors in your code and would like to slow down the execution of each block so that you can look very carefully as to where you may have possibly got an error. These sections here are specifically in relation to the use of the blocks, so they allow you to zoom in, zoom out, and remove blocks should you want to remove certain sections that you do not any longer need. Let's have a look at the question. The question here says you need to move the turtle so that it draws the square shown in grey. Now the first thing to do is look at the blocks that are given to you. In this particular question, you are only given 3 blocks. This means that there is not a huge amount of combinations of blocks that you can use or create in order to get the final solution. So the first thing you would do is move some of the blocks into the section for you to run your code and test it. Now, as you can see here, the blocks are pretty self-explanatory. This block here allows you to move forward or back, and if you change the value here, it changes the amount of steps that the turtle takes. The same concept applies to the next block, but in this case, this block allows you to turn the angle that the turtle is facing in, left or right. Again, the block section at the end allows you to change the number or the degree, in this case, that the turtle turns. Pen up and pen down allows you to stop the turtle from drawing on the canvas at certain points if you bring the pen up, and move the turtle to a different section of the canvas, and pen down allows you to draw on the canvas. So let's have a look at what some of the blocks do. Now, as this is a square, we know that our degrees are going to be 90, and we are going to be turning either left or right at 90 degrees. The first thing we need to do, as the turtle is at this starting point here, is move the turtle forward to the corner over here. So the turtle starts here. We need the turtle to stop here, and then we will need to use the turn block in order for the turtle to then turn the correct way 90 degrees and carry on. Now, to draw the square, we know that we will need to repeat the same blocks 4 times. This means that once we've carried out the first set of blocks correctly and successfully, it is simply a matter of copying and pasting, or in this case, if you right-click on the blocks, you can duplicate your blocks, as shown here. You can also delete blocks, disable blocks, and collapse blocks. So if you have a look here, we are going to practice with the given block, which is moving forward by 80. As you can see, when we get to the top corner, we do need to turn left 90. So if I click those 2 blocks together and run it, I can see that my turtle has managed to get to the halfway mark of the line. This means that 80 times 2, i.e. 160, is the full length of the line. Once I've changed this, I can quickly test it to see if that's correct. As you can see, my turtle is now in the correct location to move on the next line of the square. So let's carry on writing this code. Now we need to move forward 160 again. This is because we know that each line of the square is exactly the same. As you can see, I've used the duplicate function to allow me to quickly copy and paste the code and carry on working. Now, if I run this code to quickly test where I am, I can see that my turtle is now in the top left section of my square. Now in this case, instead of turning left like I did before, I know that I will be turning at a degree of 90, but in this case I will be turning right. So let's turn right. Oh, as you can see here, it should have actually been left. So let's change that and run it again. Now, as you can see, this is a process of almost trial and error. It is possible that you will make some small mistakes or even some large ones. The idea is that you go through your code step by step, run it at each stage to make sure that you are going to the correct solution. So as you can see there, I've quickly modified the right function to the left, and I can see that my turtle is now facing in the correct direction. Again, I know that because my square is of equal sides and equal angles, I can copy and paste the code or duplicate the blocks in order to do the correct thing the number of times I need to. So if I run my code again, I can now see that my turtle is essentially on the last section of code, which is following the last grey line. Again, this means that I need to turn a certain location or in a certain direction. Again, I will definitely be turning 90 degrees. So let's test the left turn and check if that works. Yes, it does. Now, the last thing left for me to do is to go back to my starting point and thus duplicate my forward by 160 and run that code all the way till the end. As you can see now, because I have successfully completed my code and it is doing what I want it to do, it tells me clearly here that it is correct and that my answer has been saved. Now, it's important to understand that for every challenge that you will see, there are possibly different answers and different ways that you can solve the solution. So in this case, if we look at the possible answers and explanations given on the website, you can see that instead of moving forward by 160 in one go, we've used here in the solutions 2 blocks where we're moving forward 80 and then moving forward another 80, which in essence is the same thing, but it uses an extra block and does 80 twice instead of doing what I did, which was moving forward by 160 using 1 block only. Either solution would give you the correct answer and therefore would be marked correctly. How did you find that question? Well done for getting through question 1.